Wingman Joker, thank you for listening to this channel and please support the channel. Please subscribe. Chapter 20. Shopping 2. Walking out of the hospital room, Adrian had to hurry after Jimmy. Thankfully, he managed to catch up with him pretty quickly as the latter was taking his time, talking to himself and punching a wall or two on the way out of the hospital. He was clearly pissed to the core. Adrian really wanted to get close and hear what he was saying, but right now, it would be very difficult to cast a good disguise spell with his current level, so he could only use normal tracking techniques to follow behind him. Those techniques were not really normal, but they didn't imply anything magical. Just the way Adrian walked and breathed, made him feel very lame and insignificant. It was as if looking at the wall beside him was a more interesting thing to do. So carefully he followed his target as he left the hospital, then making a few turns he walked into the back alley right behind it. Adrian hid behind the wall, and carefully, cast a quick spell, creating a mirror out of water vapor in front of him to see what Jimmy was doing. He was kicking the trash cans at random. Adrian frowned and watched. Bam! Out of nowhere, a huge black rat jumped from one of the kicked trash cans as if it was trying to run away. Bang! Jimmy kicked it, killing it in seconds. Not caring for the corpse, he turned to look for others as Adrian heard what the voice in his head said. Mission completion rate 10/30, another step toward greatness. Jimmy smirked as he kicked another can, totally failing to notice that the rat he just killed shivered once, and from it, strange matter evaporated and made its way into his head where it was absorbed. Well, he was not like Adrian who was fully aware of every strand of energy around him. Soul energy can only be one thing. A filthy demon. Wait, what is a demon exactly? You don't have those in your world. No, all worlds has demons, it is just that in some places they know how to hide. What are they? Demons are a kind of creature that comes from a very strange world. They exist in the soul form, they can have bodies but they don't need them to survive. Yeah, they also like to eat other people's soul and magic. And they like to scheme others. They survive on chaos, so they always make sure to cause trouble and end up eating up any world they appear in before crossing to another. Just like viruses, it is just that world barriers mean nothing to them. Some really nasty stuff. The question is, what kind of relationship does it have with the boy? Yeah, it could be an artifact or a possession. Oh, watch out. Just then, Adrian's thoughts were interrupted as another rat broke free from a trash can and headed his way with Jimmy after it. Caught you! Jimmy yelled as he struck it with an iron pipe, killing it before returning to his hunt. He completely failed to notice Adrian, who jumped high up right in time. Stretching his hand, he fixed himself between the two narrow alley's walls. That was close. No what? He failed to notice us. A normal demon would have done that. If he did, we would have killed him. Then it is not a demon. It is. The demon is using Jimmy's senses to interact with the world. It is a possession. This soul is inside of him. He is so screwed. Not necessarily. The souls of this world residents are very strong. True. You mean, a demon will not be able to take over Jimmy's directly anytime soon. He will probably slowly corrupt him, making him willingly merge with it at some point. Yeah, it will start with making him kill insects, go to rodents, then cats, dogs, demonic monsters, then criminals, finally babies. When he becomes the enemy of the world, and on the verge of death, the demon would ask him to give up control of his body just for a second and then, poof. We have a complete demon. Yeah, the usual plot. It will take years for him to reach that level though. The night technique that it will give him will probably be some blood bodybuilding art. So what to do? I think we should leave him be. I don't like him. How can you? We should help him. It will be too hard considering our current level though. Right, and this ungrateful prick will just hate us for that. He would never believe us even if we were to tell the truth. Then what? We should monitor him. Demons are like cockroaches. If you see one, there are definitely two others around. Oh, yeah, we can't leave them free to possess our lolies. You can shut the fuck up. He does have a good point through. Right. Ellipsis. After making sure there was nothing more to uncover about Jimmy, Adrian quickly returned to the hospital. Buying a few cans of juice, he hurried back to the room where Clara seemed to have finished explaining to her daughters what Adrian did. Thank you very much for helping. Rose quickly thanked him, though he could feel that she was still holding some hostility toward him. That's my duty. I will come to check on you in a few days to continue the treatment, he sighed. Well, it is already late, and I have a lot of things to do. Will you come with me, or would you like to stay here? He turned to Summer and asked. She seemed a little absent-minded. Go, remember what I told you, Clara quickly said. What did you tell her? Rose asked. Was it when she left to get a vase for the flowers? Nothing important, Summer blushed. I will come see you in a few days, she said as she grabbed Adrian's hand and dragged him out. See you later, mother-in-law. He yelled on his way out while giving her a thumbs up. It was not hard to know what she told Summer. She definitely told her to serve us well. Haha yup, we will just let her do that. See you later, young Master Adrian. Clara chuckled as she watched them walk out. It was clear that she really liked him. Ellipsis. I am sorry for doubting you, Summer said in a low voice as soon as she and Adrian left her mother's room. I told you I would punish you for it tonight, so don't worry. He smirked as he got dragged away. She blushed, remembering what he said. Right now, her feelings for him were complex to the extreme. She didn't know how to treat him. Like her friend, her husband, her guardian angel, or like her evil captor. You didn't have to antagonize Jimmy that much, it was a misunderstanding, she finally said, changing the subject. So you noticed. She was not stupid, it was clear that he was showing dominance there. I didn't do it because of the punch, he had already been punished for that when he was electrocuted. Adrian shrugged. It is just that the boy has a crush on you, and I don't like people touching my things. He said as they reached the ground floor. But there is nothing between us, we are like a brother and a sister, she said. She was just a thing. This was a fact. I will make it clear to him the next time I see him, she added with determination. It was for Jimmy's protection. Quote. Adrian sighed. He will never listen, but do try, he said. Fully knowing well that it would make Jimmy more furious. Also, once we get a good residence, do invite him to come visit. He said. Summer frowned. Adrian clearly wanted to rub his riches in Jimmy's face, but the idea was not bad. At least the latter would finally know his place. It would be good for him to finally give up any delusions about her. Young master, someone shouted. It was a nurse who hurried toward him as they nearly exited the hospital. Ah, yes, I almost forgot, Adrian said as he took a tightly wrapped package from the nurse. Thanks, he said with a bright smile. It is our duty, the nurse bowed with a blush. Just make sure not to tell anyone. I know, Adrian said, winking to the nurse as they left the hospital. What is that? Summer asked when they reached the street. It is yours, Adrian gave it to her. Your uniform for your nightly duty. Ah, you can buy this at a hospital, she asked as she checked that it was really a nurse uniform. Honey, you can buy anything if you know how to ask, he said as he looked around. Quote. Summer bit her lip as she put it in her bag. She knew she didn't have a choice here. Where are we going now? I was planning to see if I can find a good house or a car, but since it is this late let's head to the library, he said. He was not in a hurry to get a house, as he was hoping his father would be able to get him his old mansion soon. As for the car, it could wait for tomorrow. Summer nodded then quickly followed behind him as he began walking. I want to ask you something, she hesitated. About your mother's condition, he asked as he guided her. The inverted veins. Yes, you should have inherited those from her, but since you have magical meridians, the inverting only affected those. It must be something to do with the DNA expression, Adrian said. Ah, what? She didn't understand. What is DNA? Never mind, the treatment I administered was in fact just allowing inverted mana threads to pass through her body, naturally dissolving the crystallized mana. Adrian continued. You could have done it yourself, but you will need to have very precise mana control. Really? Summer was surprised. Yeah, in the future, you will only need to make your mana pass through your mother's veins once or twice a month, and this situation will never happen again. Adrian explained. That is unless my theory is correct, then I will be able to cure her for good. What theory? She asked. She felt very strange. He was talking as if he was the one who came up with all of this, not his family's masters. Was appearing to be a genius in front of her this important. You will know in a few days, you will be my test rat, or we can try it on your sister. No, I will do, Summer sighed. You really should give up that sacrificial mentality of yours, Adrian scolded, pinching her hand. You belong to me now you know, you can no longer have the right to do that, he said, making her nod. For some strange reason, his words felt comforting. Where are we? She suddenly asked. While she was thinking about what he said, they seemed to have left the main street and were now in a dark alley. I thought you wanted to get some books about magic, he asked as they reached an old bookstore. The kind with a wooden front filled with all kinds of dusty old books. Weren't we going to the library? This place is better than any libraries, it is just that it is on the pricey side, but I will be the one paying, so you don't need to worry about that. He said, pushing the squeaky door open and entering. Welcome. Ah, if it is not young Master Adrian. I almost didn't recognize you. The old shopkeeper who sat behind an old dark wood counter exclaimed as he looked up from the rotten book he was reading. Hollyshit, an 8th circuit magician. We should have known. Yeah, this guy was too smart for just a bookshop owner. Uncle Klein, it has been a while, Adrian said as he felt the owner's aura. This was the place where he got his books when he was young. It was introduced by his father. Yes, did you get your powers back? More or less, Adrian said as he looked around. This place never changed. So, what can I do for you? He asked, shooting Summer a fleeting glance, then quickly losing interest in her. I want some books for the girl. She is taking her first steps to be a magician. Quote, oh, you want her to follow a special legacy? Klein asked. He could tell that Summer was a zero-rank magician. At her age, this was very bad, but he was not a person to judge others. The point is, Adrian wouldn't have come here if he wanted to get her some normal stuff. Kinda, let's see, first of all, I need a copy of an Introduction to Circuits. Flatrock or Blackthorn? None, I want an old Skyrod, you still have a copy or two, right? Yeah, too bad no one can appreciate the good old stuff anymore, Klein said as he reached to one side, took a thick leather-bound gilded book and placed it on the counter. What else? A copy of, About the Meridians, and, Elemental Magic Elements, give me one with the author's introduction, a copy of, Atlas of the Human Meridians, any modern version would do, and one copy of, Cycles in Despair. Oh, that one is not a good read for fledgling magicians, the old man said as he collected the books. It has some certain things that she might find interesting, Adrian shrugged, making Summer, who didn't know what this was about, frown. I see, anything else? Do you have anything about demonic beasts? I remember a young master telling me that you didn't care about those. Just found it to be an interesting subject. I need an encyclopedia, it can be a modern one, and find me a book about processing monsters' parts. We have a few of those, let me see what I can get. This one should do it, Klein said, finding a very thick dusty book from one shelf. I remember you had an old cookbook about those, one without an author's name, do you still have it? Adrian, who was watching him, suddenly asked. Ah, the young master's Adrian's memory is impressive, you are in luck, I just got it back a few days ago. It has been sold and returned quite a few times since the last you have been here, you see. Returned because of the death of the owners? Adrian asked. Those fools must have tried the recipes. Yeah, do you want it? Yes, young master, I have to advise that you do not try any of the recipes in it, your father might kill me for real if anything were to happen to you. The last time you collapsed I had to be interrogated by your family agents after all. Klein said. Don't worry, it is not meant for me. Good, Klein said as he got the books. Is that all? Do you have exchange of interest? Adrian asked. Quote. Klein raised one eyebrow, looking at Adrian then at Summer. I do. Just a moment, he said, hurrying to the back before returning with a slim red velveted book that Summer could easily tell what it was about. Good, how much do I owe you? Adrian asked with a smirk. Let's see, 100,000 for this, 17.57, and some for this, with our special discount, it will be a total of 1,478,000 silver. Summer gasped hearing this. Adrian ignored her as he used a check to pay. Can you send the books to the hotel? Of course. Tell them to take it to the Red Oak in the presidential suite, he added as he gave Klein the check, then turned and left, Summer right behind him. Come again, young master, Klein said as he watched him leave. It was rare to get a customer like Adrian, who knew his stuff. Ellipsis. I don't remember magical books being this expensive, Summer nervously said as soon as they walked out. All the books you see in normal libraries and bookstores are donated for free by the various powers and are overseen by the Magical Council. Other than the printing cost, they have a very slim profit margin. Ah, then why bother buying those? Summer frowned. Wouldn't the Magical Council's approved books would be better? You have a special physic, it would be a waste to let you learn the stupid shit they teach at schools. Common magic is meant to produce an army of magicians who can function in society and fight monsters in the army. They don't have the juicy stuff, Adrian said. Yesterday I was planning to get you some of the common ones, but since you were gifted enough to create your zero circuit by yourself in just one night, I changed my mind, he said. We can always change back to the common stuff if you were to find the things here too challenging. He added. Summer didn't know whether she should be glad or regret showing too much.